Abacha, Abiola died by Susan Rice. Hello everyone, welcome back to Greenfield Media. We hope you're doing well today. Thank you for following us and God bless you. Please like this post and share with your friends. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Let us know what you think about the story in the comment section. And thank you again for following us. God bless you. So Susan Rice, America's former ambassador to the United Nations, gives an account of how Abiola and Abacha died. So let's look into it and hear what she has to say. So the opening line in one of her books, the former ambassador, Susan Rice, gives a riveting account of the last hour of the late Bashir Moshood Kashimawo Olawole Abiola. So she was one of the visiting American diplomats in whose presence the presumed winner of the 1993 presidential election died on 7th July 1998. More significantly, Rice was the one who served Abacha the famous last tea. For the past 22 years, the former National Security Advisor to President Barack Obama has refrained from speaking on what exactly happened that day. But in her memoir, Tough Love, My Story of the Things Worth Fighting For, Rice accounts not only how Abiola died, but also confirmed the street gossip about the last hour of the late General Sani Abacha. In the memoir, Rice also recounts how she was conceived in Lagos during the 2 years her parents spent in Nigeria at the time her father was helping in the establishment of the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) after independence. As the American diplomat with Africa as a brief, Rice also recalls many of the crises on the continent, especially the one that eventually led to the death of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, and the encounters she had at different times with African leaders, including former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who on one occasion was nonchalantly hurling well-picked chicken bones, much to our amusement, backward over his shoulders across the presidential suite, in quote. So now let's begin with the story of one of the most momentous periods in Nigeria's political history, from Susan Rice, a former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. She reveals the death of Abiola and Abacha, how it really happened. So in early 1998, she traveled to Nigeria with the Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs, Tom Pickering, who was then among the most senior career foreign service officers. So as Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, Rice had gotten to know Pickering, our immediate boss, as a wise, fast-talking, and deeply knowledgeable diplomat, having served as ambassador to 6 countries and the United Nations. Our boss had seen and heard almost everything. So the former dictator at that time, Sani Abacha, had died a month earlier in the company of prostitutes. Viagra was reportedly involved. His interim successor was a moderate leader, Abdulsalami Abubakar, who hoped to shepherd Nigeria through a democratic election to select its new leader. So a primary objective of her visit, that's Susan Rice's visit, was to meet the wrongfully imprisoned opposition leader, that's Moshood Abiola at the time. He was the presumed winner of the 1993 election, but the results were annulled, and he was later arrested. So according to Susan Rice now, we hope to negotiate his freedom so that he could participate in the upcoming elections. So at that time, our boss, Pickering, and the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, Bill Twadell, had met Mr. Abiola in Ulster Government Guest House on the vast presidential complex in the capital. That's Abacha was in the capital at the time. A large and imposing man, she was describing Abacha at this point. Abiola became with his minder shortly. Abiola came with his minder shortly after we arrived. So the Pickering, our boss then, the former ambassador to Nigeria, knew Abiola at the time from years past and greeted him warmly. Abiola, robust and happy to see us, sat on the couch and began to tell us how poorly he had been treated during his 4 years in prison. He was wearing sandals and multi-layered traditional dress. And Susan Rice said that she noted his ankles were swollen. So continuing with the story of from Susan Rice now. About 5 minutes into the conversation, Abiola started to cough, at first mildly and then intermittently, then rackingly with consistency. He said he was hot, so I asked his dutiful minder, please turn up the air condition. Noticing a tea service on the table between us, and I offered Abiola, she's offering Abiola the tea now. Would you like some tea to help calm your cough? I asked Abiola. Abiola said, yes, with appreciation. I poured him a cup, he sipped it, but continued coughing. Increasingly uncomfortable, Abiola removed his outer layer, that's his top dress, and leaving one layer on top. I shot Pickering a worried glance. The cough became dramatic. I told the assembled men, I think we better call for a doctor. No one argued. The minder immediately placed the call. Abiola asked to be excused and went into the bathroom of our meeting room. When he emerged, he was bare-chested, sweating profusely, barely able to talk. He lay down on the couch, writhing, and then rolled face down onto the floor. The doctor arrived promptly and took a quick look at him and declared that Abiola was having a heart attack and must be transported to the hospital immediately. The men labored to lift the heavy Abiola into a small car, and he was rushed to the nearby rudimentary presidential hospital. I grabbed his eyeglasses off a side table where he left them, his only belonging, thinking of his daughter Afsat in the US, whom I had met before we left. The doctors worked on him furiously, but within an hour, they pronounced him dead. We braced for violence. Abiola's sudden and mysterious death would hit like a bombshell in Nigeria's political tinderbox. Conspiracy theories would spread like metastatic cancer. Serious unrest throughout Nigeria was possible. Washington will hyperventilate since it's not every day a major figure drops dead with senior US officials. His family would need to be told. And urgently, Nigeria's acting president would have to hear directly from us, even though his minister was present at the hospital and knew how it all went down. Ambassador Twaddell panicked and urged me and Pickering to rush to the airport and leave the country immediately. Hell no, we said. This particular delicate situation required deft management and not a hurried exit in a cloud of suspicion. Right away, I called National Security Advisor Sandy Berger, my former boss, briefed him, and dictated a White House press release. Then we went to the Nigerian Presidential Palace to relay the entire drama to the acting president. We urged him to issue a careful statement to announce the establishment of an autopsy by international experts in order to quell rife speculation and limit the potential violence. The acting president did both. Next, Pickering, Fordell, and I went with the former Nigerian Foreign Minister Baba Gana Kingibe to see Abiola's wives and daughters. All of us walked in together, but soon I realized that I was effectively alone in the room with this distraught woman. The men had hung far back and left the job to me, just like the pouring of the tea. I proceeded to explain that their husband/father was dead. He had died of an apparent heart attack that began in our meeting. The doctors did all that they could to save him, but could not. The lady's wailing was so intense, it haunts me to this day. We briefed the press and returned to the US Embassy to write the official cable to report what had happened. As a senior official, I almost never wrote up cables summarizing meetings, but in this case, there was no efficient way to ensure we got this very important history straight. So as I was typing, I heard in the distance on CNN a familiar voice of indignation. It was none other than the Reverend Jesse Jackson, then serving as President Clinton's special envoy for the promotion of democracy in Africa. Reverend Jackson served capably in his role and with good intentions, but on this occasion I could have throttled him. He was riffling about how Abiola died under suspicious circumstances in a meeting with US officials. I could not believe my ears. Our own guy implying we were killers. Immediately, I placed a call to his longtime aide, Yuri, and asked them to shut the Reverend down. Please, just get him off the set. That happened, and even as I was still watching the segment, we stayed overnight in Nigeria to try to calm things down, offer any needed assistance to the government, and make an orderly departure. Fortunately, despite deep public upset, no significant violence occurred. The autopsy eventually confirmed the cause of death as a heart attack. Nonetheless, it was Nigeria where conspiracy theories abound. The most popular, which still has currency over 20 years later, is that I killed Abiola by pouring him a poison tea. From that experience, I found that being a woman, a policymaker, comes with unique hazards. Men would not have offered, much less thought, to pour the tea. They may have swiftly called for a doctor. They may not have been able to break the bad news to the wives. Not for the first time. It was I, not they, who took the public for a crime nobody committed. So this is Susan Rice talking about how Abiola died in her presence. It was all just the circumstance. It was a coincidence that she poured tea for the man and he had a heart attack and died. So for over the years, we've heard this story that it was Susan Rice that poured him a cup of tea and the tea was poisoned and it killed him. But she has given an account that this is what happened. So what do you think? Did this really happen? And on the Abacha thing, how Abacha died, she said there had been that rumor that prostitutes poisoned him and all that before she came into the picture to visit Abiola, and Abiola died in her presence after she poured him a cup of tea. He had a heart attack. And he was already feeling uncomfortable when he came in to see them. So the thing is, she's just saying she's a victim of the circumstance. So let us know what you think also in the comment section below. Thank you for your time and God bless you. Have a good day.